Meeting up and live? Okay. Thanks for coming in. Thank you to everyone who's online or watching this on record. My name's Helen. I'm a physio by trade. I work for occupational health, but I have a real interest in ergonomics and postgrad training. My focus is on health and wellbeing and trying to prevent injury before that point of trying to fix it as a physio afterwards. So you can kind of see what my journey might have been. And I've also got Tony with me. Tony's in the health and safety team. He is an ergonomist and he's worked in health and safety for over 23 years.
Yeah.
So a long time focused on what patient safety and wellbeing.
Mainly my primary concerns are the staff safety and wellbeing. But yeah, we do get involved with patient safety when health and safety is involved. Yeah.
So we're going to talk today about workplace ergonomics and your wellbeing. Now, that's not really too much about chairs, just to put that out there. We might mention chairs, but the primary thing that we're going to do here is look beyond that furniture and think about how your whole environment, your physical and your mental environment, affects you and things that you might be able to do about it within your means. There are limits in your workplace to what you can do, but there will be things that you can look at within your own means that can help you. And little differences can make a big difference when you look at your workplace ergonomics for your health and wellbeing. Okay? So just to check, is this the right session? Is this where you thought you would be? And are you all happy that we're not talking about chairs and desk heights for the whole session? All happy? Okay. Forgive me, I need to keep my notes. Could you pop the next one on, please? So I am a physio, which means I am a little bit of a geek and I love a definition. So this is the original words that ergonomics come from. Any idea what languages that might be? Close Greek, ancient language. So ergonomics has been around for a really, really long time. And it comes from those words, ergonomos. So the natural laws of work. And ergonomics has taken a journey from primarily being physical health and safety, so just protection from injury, to being much more holistic and covering everything from that physical, mental, psychosocial, everything into be ergonomics. So we're going to look through what ergonomics covers first of all, and then we'll look at how that might affect you and then some practical strategies. Okay. So physical. Now, in physical, you've got a number of things, and this isn't a kind of exhaustive list, by the way. This is some of the factors that come into ergonomics. As I know some of your job roles, probably you already know this, but we'll do a little recap of how I look at it. So physiology comes under physical, and that is your body's internal responses. That's your cellular level responses. And this is part of ergonomics. So it's how your circulation works, how your metabolic system responds, what your oxygen delivery is doing, your hormone responses, which is quite relevant when you think about stress and cortisol release. You've also got biomechanics, which is probably more classically known within ergonomics. And that's your body in motion. That's how you move and the forces that you put through your body. How long is the lever that you're using? What's the force through your joints? How much grip do you need? How much push force do you need? And within manual handling, we think of that in terms of Tylee, what's your load? Assess your load. What's your levers doing? Shorten your levers to make the load easier. We also have equipment within that physical world. Now, this is my promised mention of chairs once. Your equipment and tool design. That's what's around you. That's the physical stuff. The chairs, the desks, the computers, the cages that people push, the tools that people use, how much grip they need, but what's the design of that tool? Does that let them do that? And does it fit the population? So the bed heights on the wall, do they go high enough for the tallest person and low enough for the smallest person? So the equipment and tool design all comes into that physical ergonomics. Any questions on that so far? No? All good. Okay. Now you've also got the environment that comes under ergonomics. And this is what's around you, as you would expect. How warm is it? How cold is it? How's that making you feel? Do we hear the bins going past? What's our auditory disruption? What's distracting us? Do we have to wear ear protectors? Can we communicate with each other because we can't hear things because we've got to be protected? How bright are the lights? How many conversations do you have about lights? Lots?
Lots.
How bright are the lights? Are they bright enough? So that's your environment, and that's part of ergonomics. And then the biggest one for me, which is actually underlying to all ergonomics everywhere, is cognitive. And I think this is probably the least understood outside of the world, that this is actually something that really affects everyone. It's something that we're going to look at quite a bit more today. So cognitive ergonomics is how you think. It's your information processing. It's how you memorize things, learn things, and put that information together in your brain to understand. It's what makes us, helps us make decisions and see how we perceive things. So our brain very helpfully packages information for us. So it makes little plans, little mental models and schemas that we can then use to tap into, so we don't use as much energy thinking about stuff. So for example, it learns, I know this is a water bottle on a good day when I'm not gibberish. I know this is a water bottle. I know I can go, fill it up, drink my water, and I can refill it. I don't throw it away. My brain's learnt that and packaged it neatly, so I don't even have to think. But I also know that that's a water bottle. Doesn't look anything like mine, but my brain has learnt that that's how it works. So our cognitive ergonomics is what helps us understand the world around us and make sense of it. It gives us mental shortcuts, which are sometimes helpful, sometimes not, because they can mislead us. It also helps us decide where we give our attention. So it gives us that focus. Sadly, it has a capacity though. So if you overload it, it's more difficult to process information. A bit like the RAM on your computer. It's only got so much processing information. Any questions on cognitive? Okay. And there's one other element on that I've put on here, which is psychosocial. Now, that is your social and emotional context. That's your belief systems, and they influence your decisions. Usually they've come from your upbringing, because that's the biggest influences that we have as we're growing up, and they are affected by the people around you. It's how we want to be treated, how we expect to be treated, what we expect in a situation. And if you think about work and health beliefs and how they change over time, that's all psychosocial. So for instance, my parents would work 7 jobs if they needed to, and they would only not go to work if they were on a stretcher. That was the norm for them. That was their work beliefs. I hold a slightly different view. I'd like to not be on a stretcher and not go to work still if I'm not well enough, but not quite ill enough to be on a stretcher. I hold a bit more of a work-life balance view. People's health beliefs are also different about if I have pain, I should move, or if I have pain, I should take painkillers, or if I have pain, I should have a scan. All different health beliefs, and none of them right, none of them wrong. It's all different for everyone, but they influence how you think and how you act and how you perceive what's around you. And that's all part of ergonomics. So you can see it's a bit more than your furniture and your chairs that you probably normally get your phone calls for. Ergonomics then really is about how we interact with those systems around us, our environment and the systems around us. And the system could be a process or it could be an activity. Is that making any sense at all? Okay. But the bottom line is, if you improve your ergonomics, so you don't have to think as much or you don't have to reach as far, then you will optimise your well-being. And interestingly, from a trust point of view, your performance. So bonus all round, everyone wins. So what I'm going to do is just talk through how some of these things might interact in a situation where your ergonomics is not optimised and how you might be affected. So I've given you a bit of a cycle here. Now, these arrows could go any which way. I've only put 4 factors on there. And we'll talk about how these could affect you and then how you could consider ergonomics within it. But you could do loads more arrows and loads more boxes. I think we've only got half an hour, 40 minutes, so we'll draw a line here. So let's think about what physical discomfort does to you. What would you say is physical discomfort? What do you feel that's uncomfortable during the day?
Too hot or when it's too loud?
Yeah, makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it? What does that then make you do or feel? Is it comfortable? It make you happy? Can you concentrate?
I will try to think about the solution, either leave the room or switch the fan on.
Yeah, so you take some action. Good. Anyone else? Physical discomfort examples? Yeah, back pain.
Yeah, it makes me quite stressed, and then it sort of affects how I work.
Yeah, absolutely. Back pain making you feel stressed and affecting how you're working. That's exactly that. Yeah, fits in this. Sorry, I repeated it back to make it easier so you didn't have to go for the right. And physical discomfort, the symptoms that you described, back pain, feeling too hot, will come from perhaps something physical in your environment. That comes under ergonomics. We think about, what if your chair's broken? So you've got to sit on it like this. We do know some people that have to do that because of the position, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you, for example, have to sit really awkwardly, or you can't reach your equipment, or you work at a desk and your computer's over here, but your phone's over there, you're going to get physical discomfort. And might be a reason in work that you get physical discomfort, too hot as well. If that makes you uncomfortable, you'll have pain and your body will get a physiological response. So we know physiology is within that ergonomics umbrella. You'll get a physiological response. Usually if you've got a broken chair and you've got to sit like this, you'll end up with your shoulders doing a bit more work, your neck doing a bit more work, and you'll get pain. But if you get pain, you can't think properly. You don't think as clearly because your body is actually affected. Now, I think if you could go one more for me, please. This hurts my head. I don't know about you. Now, if you are lucky enough to have your own workspace, if it looks like this, please do something, unless this is what you like doing. But if you can't get your feet under the desk, like we say, you sit awkwardly. But so the upshot of discomfort is it affects you physiologically, but if it affects your cognition, it affects your cognitive load. You have to use more brain power to do what you're trying to do because you have to think about it more. Also, if your physical environment looks like this in any way, how on earth you are finding anything, I've no idea. Now, I know some people work like this and they love it and they know exactly where everything is. But if you have to think about where am I going to put my cup, that's a thought that is consuming cognitive load and energy that it didn't have to. So discomfort and physical environment can make a big difference because it affects how much brain power you need to use. It affects mental fatigue. Now, if you could pop the next one on, please. I don't know how many people, are you laughing because that's what yours looks like? So a lot of people are desk-based, and IT is a brilliant thing. We've got some amazing systems, but we've also got some systems that need a lot of clicks and need a lot of windows. And every click uses brain power. It takes a lot longer to think about a click and action a click than actually do a click. So every click you have to make uses brain power and physical energy. The more windows you have open that you have to switch between uses your cognitive capacity. So you can get to a point where your brain is just super full because of potentially your physical environment, or what you're having to do on a computer or on a ward. How ward clerks work, if there's any ward clerks watching this, I'm absolutely in awe of you. To multitask, and I'm sure all of you do it within your jobs, that constant demand of attention and switching between tasks also puts cognitive load on. And that overload is when you're thinking can't keep up. It's too much. If you're thinking beyond your capacity, it is mentally exhausting. I've definitely spoken to people who say they've gone home after however many hours at their desk, so not a physical demanding job, but a mentally demanding job, and they are so exhausted, the thought of doing anything apart from sitting in their pyjamas with a glass of wine is too much, because they're mentally exhausted because their cognitive capacity has all been used up. Does that sound familiar anywhere? So you end up exhausted with fatigue, zero battery, no power. Could you move that one on for me, please? Thank you. How does that feel? When you're fatigued, does that make you feel joyous and happy, or does it make you feel stressed and anxious? It feeds into that cycle, right? Now, stress factors do play a massive role here. Stress factors from home, from work, from anywhere can make a really big difference to you. And what you experience outside of work will also impact you in work. If you're thinking about financial concerns or someone who's not well in the family or friends, that consumes your energy. And rightly so. It means you're not going to have as much energy to do the things at work that you expect from yourself. So some of it is about how we expect and perceive things from ourselves. Could you put my stress one up, please? So you've got lots of different places that can come from, and lots of stress within the workplace as well. So as I said, all these cycles, all these arrows can interlink. So the outcomes of all of this, what do you think happens when you get into these cycles? Any takers?
We can clearly say there will be a burnout.
Yeah, probably.
Physical, psychological, mental.
Yeah. And at all levels before you get to that point as well. Exhaustion, burnout. We've talked, I know through this week that we've had some great talks on things for burnout as well.
Physically get ill?
Yeah, absolutely. Your immune system drops when you're stressed and all of this loads on you. You're more likely to pick things up. You're more likely to have a physical manifestation of stress and low energy. Lots of neck and shoulder and back problems and pain that don't have a mechanical basis are actually stress induced. Other things in your body, you can have all sorts of pains that are stress related. I didn't believe this until I experienced it for myself many years ago, not during working for occupational health, just to point that out. So yeah, physical manifestations, you can become ill. If you're then ill and not able to work, that might cause financial problems. You might end up not being able to work at all. Financial problems, losing your job or worrying about what people might think at work. puts you back in the stress and you go round and round and round. So all of this comes under ergonomics, crazily, as things that could be looked at, particularly that cognitive load. Other things in there that I've just got on my list for you here. Reduces your effectiveness. Become less productive, most likely. If it's harder to think, you can't do what you want to do as well as you want to do it. That might also cause some stress and anxiety and some conflict. It also affects relationships and communication. They nearly always start to break down outside of home and in the workplace as well. Inside home and outside of home. You might get to a point where you don't want to see a particular person in work because you can't deal with that person right now. And if that's your manager and you need to ask for leave or you need something, that's a bit of a problem. So that all starts to break down. Now, from a team point of view, that becomes more of a worry because you lose that working dynamic. And when you have a working dynamic between you, your situational awareness, your knowledge of what's going on and what should happen is really high. It can be really good. You work well together. When you start to get that breakdown, you're not sense checking what other people are doing automatically, and you start to lose that awareness. We see that in patient safety with the situational awareness, don't we, as a team? So that's really important as well. But here's the good news. You can do something about some of these things. But you've still got to come to work, right? You've still got to do your job. The trust is still going to tell you what you have to do and how you have to do it. Some systems are not going to change just now. There are boundaries, there are limits. Some of our systems are not that easy to use. You've still got to do however many clicks for EPR, no matter what we say today. You've still got to go away and do that. That's how many clicks it takes. But there might be some small things that you can do within your remit, outside of those other underlying systemic things that the trust is looking at to help you from an ergonomic point of view for your health and well-being. So let's think about that. Small changes.
Yeah, certainly from the workstation setup side, people can move the backs of the chair up, get your monitors to the right height for your eye line. They're little subtle changes, but they can make a big impact. Feedback to me and the health and safety team after moving someone's chair up, I can sit more comfortable and I feel so much better. The chair you've got isn't necessarily the one it's wrong. It could be minor adjustments and everything's fine. And it does make a big difference for your working day. You don't feel so tired, you don't feel uncomfortable, going back to the cognitive side.
Mm. And I think that's like a really small change that can make a really big difference because of the knock-on effect of the cycles. So if you don't have to think as hard because you're really uncomfortable, that makes a big difference. You've got more capacity for people outside of work as well. Any others that you want to put there in physical? We've talked about ergonomics and what's within it and how those feed in. What are you sitting there thinking, oh, hang on, if I just did, what would you want to add to that list?
Drink more water.
Oh, gosh, yeah, drink more water.
Drink more water.
Yeah. There's a couple of reasons for that. Physiologically, much better circulation, better circulating volume, but also it makes you get up and go for a wee. So if you're in a sitting job, you're going to get up and move more. So yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I've put on there, move or rest appropriately. Is anyone mostly seated in their job? You are. How often would I be poking you to say, can you get up and move, please, do you think? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Every 45 minutes.
It's a really good
Possibly.
guess. And you'd probably say 45, wouldn't you?
45 to an hour, yeah.
See, I'm a bit meaner. I'm a physio. I'd say 20 minutes.
The opticians say that for your eyes as well, but
Yeah.
the reality is getting people to break away for 20 minutes isn't a reality because of that stress of getting work done. So 45 minutes to an hour is kind of reasonably expected.
Well, we're going to agree to disagree because you're the realist and I'm the hopeful. And one of the reasons for that is circulation. Once you sit for 10 to 20 minutes, your circulation drops. And then the muscles that you're using up here don't have as much oxygen delivery, physiological. So they get fatigued more quickly. And it's not just the oxygen delivery that drops to your muscles, it's the oxygen delivery that drops to your brain. So you actually become less productive the longer you sit. So the extra time it takes you to get up and go for a walk round to the loo because you've drunk loads of water, or fill up your water, don't go bigger than a litre, please. Don't use these big 3 litre things. You'll never get up until you need a wee. Go up and fill it regularly. It's fine. It actually improves your circulation, helps your productivity. Sorry.
Just a comment from online. Somebody said that actually having a non-swivel chair has made such a difference to them.
Really?
So it just shows that kind of individuality of the physical environment.
Definitely. And it's individual to you. Only you know what's going to work for you. I can't tell you the best thing for you. We can give you some ideas and you go around and do that adjustments, don't you?
We tend to pick up the adjustment when it's too late. The MSK problems have already affected the individual because they haven't spoke up before. So collaborative with occupational health, I get referrals, I refer people to occupational health, and it's kind of too late. We want to be in front of that and we want people to come to us.
And find your solutions, try things. You've made videos around adjusting chair and DSE setup, didn't you?
But even so, I mean, a year on from the adjusting chair video, I'm still going around lifting backs. I'm still saying to people, this lever does this lever does that, and the seat pad's too short, and they're the kind of things that affect the body.
We'll talk to you after, get you fixed up. So moving appropriately, but also resting appropriately, I've put on there, because not everyone's in sitting jobs. Some people are on their feet all day. If you're on your feet all day, then maybe think about not going and getting your shopping at Tesco's at lunchtime or doing a big walk in your lunchtime. Rest appropriately. Take some physical rest. If you're at a computer constantly, maybe don't use your lunch break to search for things online, to give your brain a break from the clicking. Which actually, I think I've got that on cognitive. Before we bring those up, I've kind of given you one of those already. What do you think from a cognitive, mental perspective that you could do? Or that other people, anyone could do?
Not have as many windows open on our computer, Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, close things down.
Yeah. Close things down that you don't need to do that task. Set your time limit for your task and do that task. If that's within your job ability to do that, if you have that control to do that. So, if you don't need your emails open for that 20 minutes to allow you to focus and not switch your brain to other things, turn your notifications off, shut the program down. I think we're all culprits of seeing something pop up on the screen and thinking, I've got to deal with that. Well, take that temptation away if you don't have to, and you can do it for that time, and you won't be able to do it all the time, but even if you do it some of the time, it will help stop your brain having to use more energy. We can pop those up actually, Caleb, thank you. Yeah, identify your priorities. If you can do that and you can focus on one priority at a time, if you can, it will take a lot less time to get each priority done. If you dread doing something, it will take a lot longer to do it than if you don't dread it. So sometimes it's changing your perspective on it, changing how you think and to approach it. And know that some things you need to do 9 or 10 in the morning, because by the afternoon you've got less capacity and it will take you 3 times as long. So schedule your brain activity. Close tabs you don't need, reduce clicks. Upskill your IT. So this is for everybody who's anywhere based, particularly thinking about the NHS migration here. IT can be really challenging, particularly dinosaurs like me who didn't grow up with a computer, just putting that out there. It's more challenging for some people than others. And that's all ages, all walks of life. So if you're struggling to do something and you don't understand it, it takes a lot more emotional and cognitive energy. And again, you're exhausting yourself before you even do your job. So upskill your IT. There's loads of free online courses for applications for Teams. Teams is a really big one that drives everyone crazy. Would it help if you had a bit more skill in that area? Actually, you could apply that to any area. If you're struggling with something and it's using your physical and cognitive energy, can you upskill it yourself or ask someone to show you what to do? Talk to your managers if you need to make that task easier for you so it becomes more automatic. You know, when we do things more automated, we use shortcuts. As I say, they're not always helpful, but you probably don't remember every gear that you drove through when you drove to work because some things are automatic. If you can do small little changes, that butterfly effect will ripple out and hopefully help things. And allow cognitive recovery time. So like I say, if you are on a computer all the time, please don't use your lunch break to click, maybe do something else. There's a lavender garden here. Anyone at Bournemouth? It's a brilliant place for recharge. And build or mend your relationships. I've put that in because relationships are always affected when your body and your mind is affected within that ergonomic kind of setup. Your relationships suffer. Build your relationships. It will make how you feel about doing something easier. It takes a bit of energy, but it's an investment because then that makes that workplace easier to come into. And I know there's lots of movements across site at the moment. And that takes energy to build new relationships, new teams, new physical environments, getting used to that. So recognising what you can do is really helpful, but it's individual to you. So have a think about what you can do. You might need to talk to your manager. You might need to engage with your team and kind of go, right, guys, what's going to work for us as a team? But bear in mind, there'll be individuality within that. And what works today might not work tomorrow because it depends how you feel as well. So start those wellbeing conversations as well. If you're a manager, please start your wellbeing conversations. If you haven't already, there's really great paperwork on the Thrive Live, isn't there? Thrive Wellbeing on the internet. There's some paperwork to help you with that. So these are the things that you could do. Now, I do know within this, organisational wise, there's limits, as we said. We know that lots of systems we're using can't possibly have imagined that a human being would be the end user when they've created them. We know that, don't we? And I can't change those things for you. As an organisation, it's helping that communication, and the Thrive paperwork's great for that. Raise your concerns, and if you have barriers, if you get together as a team or an individual and go, well, this isn't working because, but actually this could work if we did this, isn't this? Raise it. It would be really helpful. Because if it's not working for you at the moment, there's definitely no chance of getting it working unless you say something. So try things, raise it. That's the really important thing. And then also, it's about engaging each other in conversation and modelling healthy behaviours. So everyone doing the right thing, whether you're a manager, remembering that managers are also employees, every single one of us here are employees, modelling that really good behaviour. If your colleagues see you going for a lunch break, well, great, they might create space to take one as well, which, as we know, is a really good break. So, yeah, some things you can't control, but address the things you can. The workplace ergonomics, really, as we've seen, is not just about your physical setup. It is a lot to do with your cognitive load and capacity and thinking about how everything around you affects you. So it's not just your chair or your desk, although it's definitely an element of it. You do need to think about that. I would like you to think about the physiological effects, the physical within that, the biomechanics, how you're doing things, the cognitive, the environment, the other influences, psychosocial. I'd like you to think about all of those things when you think about ergonomics and think about what that means for you in the workplace. So there's a few strategies there. We've kind of talked through odd little things, and I know they seem really little, but it's that butterfly effect of what you might be able to do. Could you pop the next one up, please? So what I'd really like to do is try and get us from feeling like this. This is the Kit Kat advert, just to put that out there for a reference, to this one. Because I'm a realist and I know that you're probably not going to get rid of all the post-it notes that are attached to your brain and your body, but maybe if you could just reduce them a little bit with a few little strategies, that might be helpful. Okay. Any questions so far? No? Are you all thinking we should have said, yeah, I'm in the wrong room when I started, when I gave you the opportunity to leave? The next thing for you, and the final thing, is that call to action. What are you going to do today? What are you going to take away, jot down, put on a post-it note to take with you, or in your mind do that to take away today? What do you think you can try? Impact of ergonomics in your workplace is vast, it's huge. It's more than just that physical setup and can we reach things. Are you going to talk to someone, empower someone to do something, go and help someone with their chair, go and show someone how to use Teams? There's so many things that you could do. What we want to do is for you to do the best of your ability at work without damaging yourself. But actually, that's not really enough, is it? Come to work, do your best, let's not damage you. That's kind of the bottom line, the minimum, the bare minimum. What we really want is not just getting through, actually want you to come to work and thrive in that environment, feel like you have some control. That little element of changing one thing will give you that feeling of control as well, in sometimes an environment where it's really challenging to feel like you're in control of anything. So that all then helps. So this is my call to action for you. What will you do today? Any takers on chat?
They're typing.
That's exciting.
I think for me, actually, just listening to you, Helen, like I know a lot of this, but it's actually the doing it. So it's really good to kind of look at some of those pictures and really identify. Yep, that's me. Yep, that's also me. Yep, I don't get up as much as I should do. Don't drink as much water at work as I should do. Like I'm ticking a lot of those boxes, and I know better, and I'm still not doing it. So it's about actually, taking this knowledge that you've imparted today, and actually putting it into action, and making sure that I do start making those little changes, because ultimately it's me that suffers if I don't. It's me that gets stressed. It's me that feels unwell. It's me that feels pain or whatever it is. So actually it's, and they're not expensive. They don't cost money. They don't take time, really. Like you say, realistically, if you get up, you go for a little short walk, you're going to be more productive. We know that. So you get it back tenfold, but it's just putting it into action and being strict with yourself around doing that. So thank you very much for that reminder today.
No worries.
Anybody else want to add anything?
Thank you very much. That was really, really, really nice. On the side of like our supervisor and mentors and leaders, it would be nice for actually, have that action from the top sometimes. And I think, having someone that will encourage us. I've swapped the teams from big one to small one. We encourage each other. We know it's working. But again, having that allowance for what we call it, wellbeing walks, chat, walking handovers. I'm not saying not spilling out confidential information, but anything like it in a very great area as we do have around Bournemouth Hospital. But yeah, implementing that and kind of like spreading it, like infecting everyone else about that fun aspect of, would you mind to adjust the screen? That's very common that they don't really do that. But
Yeah.
thank you very much. Everything was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've just got a comment online here that's come through. Somebody saying they went for a lunchtime walk for the first time today
Amazing.
in 1 year of being here. And I do feel like my brain has a bit more energy for the afternoon.
Amazing.
So well done. It's fantastic.
There was one thing that we talked about last year that I pick up quite a lot, that these people that sit in the desk for 7-8 hours a day, if I put you on an aircraft for 7-8 hours for 7-8 hours, apart from you obviously get up and go to the toilet and that sort of thing, you wouldn't just slump there. They give you a little card with little exercises that we set up with a physiotherapist last year.
Yeah.
So just think that length of time you're sitting there, as you get into the afternoon or later in your shift, whatever it is you're doing, just think about a little exercise, roll your shoulders, stretch your arms. Just, it sounds counterintuitive, but it actually helps fight fatigue and you feel better when you're going to go home.
I think in Japan they make it mandatory
To do exercise.
yeah, in the morning or something in the offices or yeah, I feel like that's something we could implement in the NHS. That would be great, but yeah, I don't know, like maybe like a morning stretch or something to keep the blood flow going.
That's a good idea.
For me, it's definitely take a lunch break, move away from my desk, because I definitely do not do that, and I know I should do that, not just for me but for my team, because they need to see me going,
Yeah.
and I don't, so I really need to do that. And like you, I know what I should do. It's the doing what I should do. I know all the answers, I just don't do it. So yeah.
So from today, you're going to do it.
Any other questions?
We'll try together.
Yeah.
We'll have a little.
A
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah, we'll go for a walk.
Okay.
No, nothing more coming through online at the moment. So that's great. Lovely. Just want to say thank you very much, Helen. Thank you, Tony. Really useful session. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Tony, you came to see me and you did